Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Nuduhu wasta'inuhu wastadihi wastaghfiruhu wa uminu bihi jalla wa ala wa la akfuruhu wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Arsalahu bil huda wa dinil haq liyudhhirahu ala din kullihi walau karihal mushrikun. فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأوثق الأمور كلمة التقوى وخير الملال ملة إبراهيم وخير السنن سنة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأشرف الحديث ذكر الله وأحسن القصص هذا القرآن وخير الأمور أوزنوها وشر الأمور محدثاتها وأحسن الهدي هدي الأنبياء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأما علامة دلالة بعد الهدى وخير الأعمال ما نفاء وخير الهادي ما اتباع وشر الأمن أمن الكلام. The Prophet ﷺ said the most truthful of discourses is Kitabullah, or the Book of Allah. The most trustworthy word is taqwa, or fear of Allah. The best of the community is the community of Prophet Ibrahim. The best way of life is the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. The remembrance of Allah is the most glorious of all things. The best of all narrations is Quran. The best acts are those requiring the highest degree of will and determination. The best way of life is the one adopted by the prophets of Allah. The worst acts are those based on innovation. The most glorious death is the death of the martyr. The most glorious death is the death of the martyr. The most glorious death is the death of the martyr. The most wretched blindness consists of going astray after finding the right way. Best acts are the ones that yield benefits. Best guidance is that which people may be able to follow. The worst blindness is the blindness of the heart. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna Allah yahmuru bil adli wal ihsani wa itai dhil qurba wa yanha anil fashai wal munkari wal baghi ya'idukum la'alakum tadhakkarun. Allah commands justice, the doing of good, and the brotherly to kith and kin. He forbids all shameful deeds and injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. فَمَنْ يُرِيدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Those whom Allah in His plan willeth to guide, He opened their breasts to Islam. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except in the state of Islam. وَأَتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. And hold on all together by the rope which Allah stretches out to you, جَمِيعًا, together. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. You are the best peoples evolved or raised for mankind, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, and believing in Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Today, we would like to begin the khutbah just by acknowledging that 49 people were gunned down in Masjid, or maybe even 2 Masjid, in New Zealand, and it's our duty and it's our responsibility to acknowledge that they have achieved or received martyrdom. And so there's different ways to look at various situations. And the Islamic way of looking at all these tragedies and all these disasters, that is all around the Muslim world. It's basically from Hadith. So the Prophet ﷺ has said, how excellent is the state of the true believer. He wins grace under all conditions. If he is affected with grief, sickness, and poverty, he bears them in peace, and such trials bring goodness to him. If he is rewarded with happiness and prosperity, it becomes a cause of goodness for him. This is in Sahih Muslim. So technically there is nothing bad that can happen on the surface and below the surface relating to Muslims and Islam. Because if tragedy, if grief strikes you, strikes your family, strikes the ummah, and we bear with it, with discipline, self-control, far vision, far reach, and we stick to our values Islamically, right? And we bear it with the right attitude, that's good for us. Because we're amongst the Sabiqun, those who are patient under all conditions of trial and panic and bad influences in the world. But if we're rewarded with good, we're thankful. Say, alhamdulillah, that Allah has blessed us with whatever it is that we've been blessed with. So what we're saying is, there's nothing bad for a believer if they have the right attitude. And surely we will try you with something of fear and hunger and loss of wealth and lives and crops. But give glad tidings to the steadfast who say, when a misfortune striketh them, lo, we are Allah's, and lo, unto him is our return. Such are they, or those whom are blessings from their Lord and mercy. Such are the rightly guided. Another hadith says, Anas radiallahu anhu reported that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has observed, the more severe the trial and hardship, the greater the reward. When Allah cherishes or loves for a group of people, that is, when Allah loves you, you know how Allah shows that He loves us? He puts us through trial. He puts them through trial, cleanses them more to make them pure. Tazkiyah bil nas. That's where that's the root of it. Trial. Tazkiyah bil nas is a long process of evolution and purification of your internal self. That's where it comes from. Where it comes from? Allah loves you. And when He loves you individually, collectively, as a group, He put you through trial. You might look at all of the fitna that we go through here in America. Think about it. It's a process of trial, process of development. We'll get into some of that a little bit later. Hence, those who acquiesce in the will of Allah win the pleasure of Allah, and those who harbor resentment against Allah in this hour of trial, Allah is displeased with them. Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu anhu relates that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the child of a person dies, Allah inquires from His angels, did you extract the soul of the child of one of my creatures? They submit yes. Allah again asks, did you extract the soul of the most beloved of my creatures? They submit yes. Allah then inquires from them, what did my creatures say? They submit. In the hour of affliction, they praised thee and they said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. Thereupon Allah commands the angels, build a dwelling for these creatures of mine in paradise and call it Baytul Hamd. Baytul Hamd, that's the house of praise, or the house of thanks. Yeah. So it's called the house of thanksgiving. One more. It basically, the sins of the believers are cleansed through this process of challenge. The bigger the challenge you face, the taller, the better you have to become to overcome that challenge. This is a natural law in nature. The bigger, the badder, the tougher your opponent, right? The more you got to train to overcome that opponent. When your nafs are very strong, you have to become very strong indeed to overcome your nafs. Because you're in this world, the greatest challenge is the shaitan. And what is the tool that the shaitan uses against all of us? It's our nafs. So Allah have gave us challenge and struggle in order to give us the tools to defeat the shaitan in this world. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. This was al-Faqih for our people who have been martyred, who have achieved martyrdom. Now you got to realize in Islam, we don't talk about people just as being slaughtered and killed. The highest level is they achieved, it's a great achievement, martyrdom. And in this world, we have to really, at this time for Muslims, we have to really have a martyrdom mentality almost, because around the world, those are the people who are facing the greatest challenge. Let's see what it says. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَلَقَدْ أَسْكُزِيَّ بِرُسُولٍ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ فَهَاكَ بِالَّذِينَ سَاكِرُوا مِنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا بِهِ يَسْتَزِيئُونَ. Mocked were of many messengers before them, but their scoffers were hemmed in by the things that they mocked at. Say, travel through the earth and see what was the end of those who reject faith. You know, we talk a lot about the process of evaluation of things and what have you. So in this world, we have the Quran as a guide. We have the Sunnah as a supplement to the Quran. They go in pairs. Then we have history. Now this is following what Allah gave us. This is history. It's telling us after you have included the Quran and the Sunnah in your daily life, go around the world or travel through books, through literature, any kind of way you can get there, through studying history to see what was the end of all the peoples before. What was their pattern of life and how did it end? experience. Because one of the Sahabas was asked, how will you rule when you go down to Yemen? He said that by your book, by the book of Allah. And then what else? By the Sunnah. And then he said, then what? He says, by aql, my reason. If I don't find it in either, so suppose you don't find it in the Quran. Suppose there's no specific hadith dealing with that. He said, aql, reason. I will use those two goalposts, right, for my leadership. And then, based on those, fitting into, right, going down the goal, right up the middle, I'll use my reason. Because if I'm using those two, I can't go wrong, right? My reason cannot go against any of those guidelines, any of those rulings. Now, we here in America, we say the Quran is our guide, and the Sunnah. And history, we have to study the history of the social waves, colonialism, neo-colonialism, all the things that's happened to us as a people. We got to know that. We should know that. If we don't know it, then we got to get busy and find out. Because if we don't, we won't be able to carry on a proper life in this world and make right decisions. And then our experience. When I say our experience, I mean the American experience. And even going a little deeper, I mean a lot by that, the African American experience. Because if you don't, well, let's include the African experience too. But you know, I'm going to tell you something. Believe it or not, the African is a little different than the African American. You can see it everywhere. You go to the movies lately, what do you find there? A lot of Africans, right? And do you know who the people are who are now trying to make the movies instead of being in them? Africans. Why is that? Because Africans are immigrants, just like everybody else. And the immigrant have a different mentality than me and you who's been here. Okay? I'm trying to tell you that when a person comes here fresh from abroad, he comes here with the picture that he has of America. And that picture overwhelms everything that he might, every challenge, right? Every challenge that he faced. I'll put it this way. Why do you think America is built on immigrants? It's built on immigrants. Why? The first generation comes, second, and then those people, America brags that nobody can stay in America for over 3 generations, keep their language and keep their culture intact. If you look at an Italian right now, when they came here, they all spoke Italian. Then the children that was born there or kind of raised young here, they spoke Italian too. Their children spoke 3 or 4 words of Italian. By the 60s, the Italians in America did what? All they knew was pizza and a few spaghetti words, and that was it. They had lost their national identity. I mean, they didn't lose it. They knew they were Italian Americans. But the language, the culture, had blended so much with America that you didn't know really what was happening. The African is the same way. The African that come here today, I mean the ones that look just like me and you. You don't pay no attention to racism and what's holding him back. And he'll do any kind of work and all kind of work, and pretty soon he'll have a tire shop, he'll have this, he'll have, right? He's on a roll. Because he ain't paying no attention. Now me and you pay attention to everything. Man, y'all didn't give us this, we tried to go down here, you know all of that. You don't pay no attention. And he's on a roll. But his kids, his kids are just like you and me. Because they're raised here in America, that immigratism, well, half of it, about 3/4 of it is out the window. And they're the African children that are raised here are more like you and I, but they still got a little zeal for getting ahead, right? Not complaining too much, because that's all they hear from their parents. I don't know how I got on this subject. But anyway, in America, right now, we got a lot of things coming our way. It's going to be based on our attitude and how we look at it. And the Quran is telling us, marked were many of the messages that came before you, but their scoffers were hemmed in by the things they mocked at. Now that might sound kind of strange, but if you think about America is the one that enslaved us, physically. They enslaved us. And in America, in those days, they had a horror of being integrated with Negroes and mixed and all of that. Boy, they was foaming at the mouth. They would hang you up, cut your penis off. They'd do anything they could. Go back a generation or two ago. That's the way it was in America. America was look at here, they come out of World War II, whooping everybody. When we was kids, we'd go to school and hold hands and walk down the schoolyard, even the Negroes did. Hey, get out of my way. I just got back from the USA. And if you don't get out of my way, I'll kick you out of my way. That was just kids growing up in school. That means America was bad. Everybody thought it won World War II. They didn't tell you the Russians is the ones that whooped the Germans. Everybody thought it was us in D-Day, isn't that right? They didn't know 27 million Russians got killed in the war. They had no idea. Because they had told us it was D-Day. But by 1973 and 74, those same slave owners was on the top of a building with the last helicopter leaving Vietnam, and everybody was saying, look at that. That's Big Bad America. It might have been 75. Do y'all remember the people on the helicopter hanging on for dear life? Because here come the Reds, right? That was Big Bad America. The most growing group of children in America is which ones? Mixed race kids. Isn't it right? Tell the truth now. Basically, that's about all you see. Where's the darkies at? Where's the darkies? Where's the blues at? Remember when we was kids, there was somebody always named Blue. Why? Because he was blue-black. He was African-black. Is that right? He was blue-black. Where's a blue in the neighborhood now? That's fine. I mean, a real blue-black Negro. Where they at? One or two. I saw a lady. In fact, it was over there by Starbucks. This was the blackest, prettiest woman I had seen in a long time. So I walked up to her, I said, I'm not hitting on you. I don't have no, but I just want to tell you, you're the prettiest, blackest thing I've seen in a long time. And she was shocked, because they don't tell them that. They tell them you got to be light enough. Her eyes got big. I said, yeah, it used to be a lot of people in the neighborhood like you when we was young. But not now. The exact same thing that these Americans was afraid of. Now, y'all don't see a lot of it. When you go to California, you go across I-40 and then you pull into Tehachapi. That's the penitentiary. Then there's a big gas thing and a McDonald's and all that, and you pull in there. Now, there's families loaded in that place, either just coming back from or going to visit their relatives in prison. And you have to have a counter. You notice it right there. Man, look at these people. And then what you got to do is figure out how much Mexican is that. That's Mexican and black there. That's Hawaii. You're trying to figure out the mixtures of all the people. You're not just, you're just doing it for fun. The white man is now an official minority in California. So goes California, so goes America. What I'm telling you about is the things that people build fortresses against. The thing that people try to stop, right, and interrupt are the exact same thing that come back around and bite them in the end. That's what these words mean in their Arabic meaning. That the same thing that the people mocked at. What it says up here is, nay, it shall come on them all of a sudden and will dumbfound them. I mean, it's going to come up all of a sudden. It's going to hit you so fast, you won't even know what's happening. You'll be looking at something else and something slip right up behind you. So they will not be able to repel it, nor will they be given to speak. And ridiculed indeed were the messengers before you, but there encircled those of them who ridiculed that which they used to scoff at. They were surrounded, doubly surrounded, and re-surrounded, encircled, right, by the very things that they mock at. You've been to the movies lately? Or have you just been reading the newspapers? They put what on the Negro to kill the rebellion? Let's try to guess what it was. Heroin. They put heroin on the Negro. But don't worry, they put LSD and crank speed on white folks. I was right there in Haight-Ashbury, right there in San Francisco. Happened to be in the drug center of all of that. We saw what they did to the Negro, but we saw what they did to them hippies too. Them white kids. This white man here in America is mean old joker. If his kid get out of line too much, he'll roll on him too. Not his individual child, but the collective. So they put crank and LSD. That means that great dream, if you come to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. That's 1966. Y'all don't remember that, but that's a dream. These white kids wasn't doing nothing wrong. Just like us, we wasn't doing nothing wrong. The white kids just looked at their parents and said, man, that old 50s stuff is out. I'm tired of that. I don't want to be like them. So they developed a counterculture. Just think, one day they were walking around with short haircuts and the next day they had a drag in the ground, right? Just like that. And they didn't want to work, they didn't want no job, they wanted to go into communes, they wanted to do, we don't want to do that. But their parents fixed them up good. They said, you're going to do it. You're going to do that. Just what we've been doing. You look in Congress now, and you looking at the last 20 years, them same kids that was doing all that other stuff, they was the ones sitting right there in Congress. They was the ones sitting right there making the laws. Okay? But the ones that didn't make it, they put LSD on them. Ollie Stanley, I was sitting there watching in 66. They didn't make LSD illegal till 66. But they'd already got them. Opiates. Heroin to us. the biggest killer in America today? Opium, Oxycontin, all of that, right? This came around and bit them in the behind. They put it out on us. They destroyed the movement. I'm sure we can all agree on that. They destroyed the black nationalist movement with good old Harrod, clean as a whistle. And now, the most dying people in the United States is who? White people. When we start talking about it, they start trying to sweep it under the rug. Oh, it's not all white people. There's a few niggas in here and there. But the numbers, 70,000 a year, that's with Narcan. They didn't have Narcan for me and you, did they? When you OD'd, you was gone. That was it. Right? Tell the truth. When we OD'd, they didn't spray nothing in your nose. They just put the tag on you, the DOA, dead on arrival. Isn't that right? Now they got Narcan to bring the white folks back. And guess what? They be mad sometimes. You brought me back. I had a good high. I was in Never Land, and you done sprayed that stuff in my... You ever see it? They have it on TV. The white people folks be mad. You done brought me back to this. Been trying to get away from it. Here you done brought me back again. That's why some of them OD 8, 9, 10 times. Isn't that right? This thing came around and bit them in their behind. They've been encircled by the same thing they put out. The same thing they ridiculed. The same thing they made fun of. They have now been hit by those things. But we'll get into it next week, or week after, sooner or later. We're not in that crowd of hatred and what have you. We've read and showed you many times what our mission is. It's to call people to Allah, work righteous deeds, and say, I'm a Muslim. But it says good and evil are not the same. Do not repel evil for evil, but repel evil with good. Then it might be between you and them. That was hatred. Guess what? The Quran uses the word wali and hamim. Wali is a friend. That America, we don't want to destroy. Everybody think we want to destroy America. The first thing, if they're talking about me in the paper, they says anti-American. I said, anti-American? See, you're crazy. I said, I drive across America 6 or 7 times a year. I said, this is a beautiful country. You got high mountains, you got the Rockies, you got deserts, you got everything here. Right? There's nothing wrong with America, the country. There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with them. Can you imagine? I'm going to move the water close because I swore. Good God Almighty. I'm going to quit in just 1 minute. Just give me that last minute here. I'm going to wrap it up because I did make a promise that we're going to keep it short. But there's a statistic somewhere that says, I can see why the young white kids are having all these school out closing today. They're doing it because of I don't know whether it's the weather or whatever. Here's what they say. Somebody said, it's supposed to be factual, that there's more plastic in the ocean than there are fish. What they say. White folks said it, I didn't say it. They say in the ocean, there's more plastic. And then they show the pictures of all the plastic. Some white boys down in one place said they got a little wristband in Bali. In Bali, anybody ever see that on that advertisement? Okay, they have a wristband, and they just started, by the way. Those young white kids, and now they got everybody with them in Bali. They've collected over 2 million pounds. Now that was 6 months ago. I don't know how many. 2 million pounds of plastic. Just where they are. 2 million pounds of plastic. Now, we know the ocean is full of fish, at least it used to be. But how is it that the ocean can be more full of plastic than they are fish? And they want this biosphere to continue just like it is. We got a lot to do. Oh Allah, we seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief. We seek thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness. We seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice us with what is lawful. Keep from us what is prohibited. With thy grace, make us free from want of what is beside thee. Ameen.